All right. I am live once again. My internet just cut out, but going to keep watching that video I was watching. I don't remember exactly where I was in the video. I think I was like 3 minutes into the video, but yeah, we're going to continue reacting. Okay, so I think I was right about here. Okay.
Millimeters of bone could have saved me, but instead I'm in this hell. So what I'm about to tell you next, it might be blasphemous from a BP perspective. You may want to excommunicate me from the BP community after hearing this. It might end up like the last scene in John Wick where they all start hunting him down. Maybe all the BPers are going to come out of my house and track me down with guns after I say this, but face does not matter as much as you may consider it to matter. And I'm talking specifically about these exact ratios, like the distance between each eye, the correct angle, upward angle of your nose, how flared your ears are, the ratio between your lip, your bottom lip, and your chin. Uh,
Hmm. I'm not sure how much I agree with this. I don't know. I mean, I guess people do, take the ratios a little too seriously sometimes. But, I mean, I don't know. So he's saying that it's just about not having any obviously bad features.
and I've said this in another video, I have very heavy under eye darkness. So that is a serious flaw, and that is definitely going to affect my treatment in society in general. So, but as long as you don't have any flaws,
I mean, yeah, I agree. You don't have to look perfect. That's a good message.
hard maxing, I'm not against hard maxing by any means whatsoever. I just want you to be smart about it. And then go from there and what can I not change and what I'm just stuck with. And so that's where I would say face ranks. All right, let's move on.
Fashion doesn't matter at all. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I think fashion doesn't really have anything to do with your looks. You know, it's like it's more just about like how you present yourself, like your personality wise. I feel like I'm pretty sure it's about like displaying how neurotypical you are and how you're able to conform with what's trendy, popular, stylish, etc.
So you often hear women don't like to say, "I like handsome men, I like tall men, I like men of." Won't. So
I think I agree with him. I think it's more about not having terrible fashion. Once you dress like decently, it really doesn't make that huge of a difference. You know, it's like Jester. Like fashion is probably Jester.
my recommendation for style or fashion style specifically, no matter what, just to be agnostic about pheno, right? So whoever is watching this video, just look like the guy in the center of this video. What you want your fashion to do is basically complement your physique, and we're going to get into physique and all of these things later on. Don't worry, but you just want it to dress like this. Just dress.
Yeah, 5'3", bro. That's that's tough. I don't know if watching too many black pill videos is making me too black pilled, but like if I were 5'3", I don't think I would try here in the United States. Or maybe I would like if I was like maxed out, but like it's just so rigged, in these Western countries if you're like a super short guy. Or just like if you're a guy who's like below like 5'6", 5'7", it's just tough. I'm 5'6", so like me and Subhuman Slayer are about the same height. And yeah, like already like at our height range, it's pretty tough. But you know, 5'3", that just sucks. And yeah, there are a lot of guys that try to overcompensate with their height, for their height with fashion. I think the best way to overcompensate for your height is to compensate for your height is to be more high status and be more pre-selected. Like fashion or like going to the gym or whatever, that's not gonna help you get over being 5'3". You have to like if you're 5'3", you have to like really level up if you want to get dating success. If you're like 5'3", 5'4", like you gotta freaking level up, man.
Like a normal person in the society in which you live. So that's all I have to say about that matter. All right, so perfect segue. Let's talk about physique. And so, I started off with a white pill on the first slide about face. Then I went into a BP. Now I'm going to give you guys another white pill, or maybe a red pill, to be honest with you guys, because physique matters a lot more than BPers believe, in my opinion. I believe that BPers have a natural.
I mean, it depends on what they mean. I mean, think about BPers. I think what they say is that being lean is what matters the most. Like they'd say like working out and getting like muscular, like this guy, like that's they would say that's just cope, but like being like lean max, like these two guys here, and but not like super muscular, they would say that that's like ideal. And like yeah, I would have to disagree with that. I think women like it's not as much about being lean. Like lean is just that's a pretty niche thing. Like younger women like that like a skinny scrawny guy who's like like the BPers act like the ideal man is like a 20-year-old guy who's like 20-year-old 19-year-old guy who's like 6'4" and like super skinny and lean. Not really. I mean, most women are gonna actually like the more like masculine physique a little bit more, a bit more filled out than these two. Not quite to that level because that's like obviously steroids. And this is also that goes without saying. But like honestly, I'm gonna be honest, this body, like this kind of like average body is probably more attractive than this body. Like this doesn't look to be attractive to women at all.
How do I say it? Like an inclination or a natural bias to only look at genetic factors, right? So if there's something that's not entirely genetic, like physique, they have a bias to just dismiss it out of hand. Let's be clear here. A physique absolutely will raise. Improving your physique absolutely will improve your SMV. It's as simple as that. But I also want to.
I mean, I think it's more. Well, let's see what he says. I think I wouldn't say it's unacceptable. I'd say you could definitely get women with this physique because like they're not gonna. I bet this guy looks decent enough with the shirt on, or maybe I'm just coping because I'm not like lean maxed. I don't quite have like the amount of like love handles like this guy does, but like yeah, I'm kind of, I kind of have like more of like an average physique, and I'm um, you know, like more filled out than this, but not like lean or jacked or anything. Just like an average physique.
Now, I've never looked like the first slide in my life, thank God. But I did actually used to look like the second slide. This is how I looked, I would say, all throughout high school and
Yeah, this is definitely not ideal. If you're like a short guy, you definitely don't want to be like skinny like that. People say that like when short guys get muscular, like they get big, they fill out their frame, it makes them just look worse. Honestly, that's not true. Like the being short as a guy looks worse when you're like skinny because then you're just like some tiny scrawny like little guy that could easily get beaten up. It's just not optimal.
university. And I don't want to expose myself.
Okay, I just completely disagree. This guy looks miles better than this guy. Like miles better. Like I mean, I'd say going from this to this would be a higher jump from SMB. Like this probably is probably the most attractive physique here, honestly. Even though like it's steroids, it's too much. Probably something between these two would be the most attractive. Not necessarily like lean and jacked like they are, but like a physique with like amount of muscle between these two would probably be optimal.
I'm sorry. Now, I know what I used to look like. I used to look like this, right? And so, in comparison to this is, for me, I'm happy. I'm happy about my progress so far up to date. But I'm telling you, nobody, especially no woman, is going to be impressed or satisfied with a physique like this. It's not until you start getting to a physique that looks like this that it actually will significantly boost your SMV. Now, I think this one is a little bit of an exaggeration. I don't think you need to look as good as this. I just asked AI to generate that photo for me. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. It looks somewhat like a sort of star that stars in, let's just call them movies aimed at men of a certain orientation, if you know what I'm talking about. So maybe if you look like this, you're going to be attracting not only women. I'll just leave it at that. So I think this might be a little bit extreme. And of course, this is just freak show. You don't never look like this, okay? Um, but basically, you have to become extremely impressive in terms of physique. And I'll also be honest, not every person is going to have the genetic capacity to look like that. Even if you took certain performance enhancing substances, which I do not recommend whatsoever, unless you want to get gyno and have your ball sack shrivel up. But not everybody can get the maximally attractive physique to women. But you can at least try, and you can at least boost your SMV somewhat, right? You can at least put on some kind of muscle mass. So you may not have the rippling pecs, the huge arms, right? The calves, calves don't matter, but you know what I'm talking about. You may not have the genetic potential to get there.
Calves don't matter? Interesting. That really sucks because I have like super muscular calves, like extremely muscular. Like I don't know if I've ever seen like a guy who's not a bodybuilder who has like bigger calves than I do. I don't know how the hell I have such big calves. It's just weird. I think having muscular legs, I don't know. I think having muscular legs is cool. I'm not sure if it helps you attract women. Actually, maybe it does. Maybe having like untrained legs is a little unattractive. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think you probably do work on your legs. It'll probably just make your physique look more well balanced.
But you do have the genetic potential to do something, and maybe that something will be enough to significantly improve you. So absolutely, get in the gym, keep your natty card, but get in the gym, and you need to go hard in the gym if you actually are interested in go at you.
Yeah, I'll be honest, humor doesn't really matter that much. There's so many guys that are funny but still can't get laid at all, you know? And there's so many guys who aren't funny at all but they get laid. It's more just about having like, more like a confident like high status like alpha personality versus being funny.
The second way is to just be genuinely entertaining and funny and be a normal, funny, witty person. charismatic person in the presence of women, they just see you as a stand-up comedian. And being a stand-up comedian isn't bad, right? People like comedians. People pay to go watch comedians. But that's all you are. You're just a person who's giving her amusement and entertainment in the moment. And when that's done, she'll probably go home, open up her phone, and go watch YouTube or TikTok videos and get some more entertainment that way. Nothing you've done is special. Nothing you've done is to make an impression. Now, would I say from that, just be completely stone faced, just an unlikable person in the presence of women and don't try to be charismatic or anything like that? It really depends. I would say it's still worth it if you're in the presence of both men and women. And because this will actually elevate you in social ranking. So, for example, like the next time, let's
Wow, I mean, I agree. I'm glad he agrees that status matters.
say you're talking to a Chad and some of his orbiters, right? Some Becky orbiters. Next time Chad and the Beckys decide to go out, Chad will be thinking, huh, maybe I should invite Melvin, right? And Becky will say, ew, no, don't invite Melvin. Why? Oh, but he's really funny.
Number one, really? I don't know if I'm coping, but um, I don't know. Number one, that I feel like face matters more. Height, really? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm coping because like I'm actually like there's no way. Oh, okay. Because I'm short, but there's no way this chart is true either. What the hell? 6% willing to date 165 to 170 centimeters. That's like 5'5" to 5'7". There's no way only 6% of women are willing to date that. There's no way. And and only like 10% of women are willing to date a guy who's like 5'7" to 5'9". So a guy who's literally like average height or slightly above average height over here. It was only 24%. What the hell? There's just I don't know where does this come from? Even like let's see, filter set. Okay, well dating app filters aren't exactly that's not accurate. I mean the women who are going to get the filters are going to be the ones who are going to are going to get the like the who are going to buy the subscription like the premium for a dating app are going to buy like Tinder Gold or something like that, Hinge X, whatever it's called. If they're buying that, then that's probably filtering is probably one of the things they're looking for, you know. And like, why would they filter and include like short guys? If they're filtering by height, they're obviously going for tall guys. So yeah, I mean, this is too black pilled. I think that I definitely agree that height matters. I know from my personal experience that it matters like a lot, but like this is an exaggeration if he's presenting this as being like um if he's presenting this as being like actual data, well it is actual data, but if he's presenting this as being like the actual tendencies of women when it comes to dating based on height, then to be fair, I don't think he didn't say that yet, so let's just see.
Um, yes, I'm 100% on team height as opposed to team face. Okay, in case any of you were wondering where I stand in the great BP debate.
I mean, maybe it's just because he's short. Oh wait, actually, yeah, it's probably is just because he's short. I mean, he does have probably a sub 5 face, he said, but um, I don't know. I notice this with black pillars. They tend to say it's over for them and compete around that, like who it's most over for. So like saying like, oh, the height pill's brutal, bro, which it to some extent it is, but I don't think it's as big of a factor as he's probably gonna say it is. It would give him more cred.
graphic AI gave me is based off of filters set by women in dating apps. I would say a little bit of a white pill for you. It's not as extreme as you see in his filter.
Okay, yeah, he said that. Okay, full credit to him.
Personally, it doesn't make sense to me that the majority of women would reject a guy who's 185 centimeters tall. That's well over 6 feet. That doesn't make sense at all. So this is pretty extreme, but absolutely, height is probably the number one thing that you can have. And to any of you guys who are on Team Face here and might disagree with me, I actually used to be on Team Face too, and here's why I came to this conclusion. It's because if you ever see the guys with the face card, but not the height, maybe they're like average or even a little bit below the average, like 5'8", right? Now, if they max out their physique, they've got a great body, absolutely they can get great results. Absolutely great results. I'm not denying that at all. But if you know these people are working 24/7 just to be attractive to women. And even though they've been blessed already with the genetic face card, right? They still have to. You always see them adjusting their hair in the mirror, making sure they look good, wearing very well fitting clothes, constantly hitting the gym to even work on their physique more and more and more. And they have to give themselves tons of exposure, try to be as charismatic, as social as possible, talk to as many women. And then after they do all of that, then they can get good results. Versus a guy who just born with genetically blessed leg bones, they basically just have to breathe. I would see all the time at my old university, tall guys, they would just stumble around on campus. They look like a mess, unshaven. They still have sleep in their eyes, wearing their gray sweatpants and pajamas, just looking completely undressed. I don't even know if they shower, to be honest with you. And the reason they're able to do that is because it doesn't matter. They know they're going to get results anyway. So why even put in the effort? They might even have like a skinny, fat little belly, which is disgusting, but they're still getting results. And I've seen this face to face personally. And that's why I say height is number one, because it is the number one signifier of masculinity. And yes, if you are shorter, you can compensate a little bit for your masculinity by getting a great physique. And it does compensate to some amount. But
Hmm. You know, I don't know. Is there some truth to what he's saying? I'm thinking about that. I think I do see more like dumpy, short guys that have like not that great faces with attractive women than like I don't be like short guys with like good looking faces who aren't like optimized or anything like that. But I don't know. I mean, I think I still think that face is what matters the most, especially if you're at least like in the average range for height. Like 5'8" isn't actually that short. So like a 5'8" handsome guy, I think he does way better than like a 6'1" like guy who's like a 3 or 4 in the face. But like I don't know. I mean, I don't think that one trumps the other. I think that face is just a bit more important than height. But I guess height is like it's just like being short is like it punishes you a lot. That's the big noticeable thing. It's like being short really like nerfs your SMV, but like being average height doesn't really nerf your SMV in the same way being average face does. You know, like being average face is like in order to be like if you're average face, then you need something, a lot more things going for you to make up for it. But like if you're average height and optimized, then like yeah, you're pretty attractive. Well, it's like yeah, being short is tough. Like I don't know. I don't really optimize that much. I'm not one of those try hard short guys that's like always trying to make up for being short. I think that if you're short, like the best way to get over it is like kind of um like act higher status, like have higher status and be more confident. You know what I mean? That's like I feel like that's gonna make up for it more than like having a great physique or whatever, because that's just kind of try hard and like you know Like the short guys I see that get really great results are the ones that are like high status.
Height is the number one signifier of masculinity, and that is what women are attracted to. All right, I'm getting tired already, and this slide isn't helping.
I don't think height is not the number one signal of masculinity. I'd say like muscle mass or like facial features are. Oh, but he's gonna talk about games, so I'm definitely gonna want to pay close attention to this.
To be honest with you. So game. So here I'm defining game as the use of social skills and techniques to increase a woman's level of attraction towards you. Guys, game is not real. Okay, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but I just gotta say it doesn't exist whatsoever. And if you want,
Yes, it does. Okay, I'll give some some um some examples that are like simple. Um, so like let's think about dating apps, like text game. Like I get way higher response rates than I would if I was using different openers on like Hinge. Like I use like optimal openers for texting women. Like I say the things that have high success rates for getting a woman to respond. So I notice a difference when I use like crappier openers. I notice guys that just put some just say some random shit like hey or whatever or like hi, how are you? They get way worse results at actually getting the woman to respond and be receptive than a guy who says something interesting that actually pulls the woman in. So that's a very simple example. Also, anecdotally, my rate at which I get numbers has increased. Why has it increased? It's because I've switched up my approach and I'm doing things differently. Um Game wise, I'm saying different things and I'm using different body language. I know how to the optimal way to approach. Um well, I'm not quite there yet, but like I'm getting better at it. Like I notice social skills absolutely matter. And game could be the big difference between like if at the end of the date the woman says, "Oh, I just didn't really feel a spark." Or if she says, I'd like to see you again. If she texts you back with enthusiasm. Let's see what he says.
proof of this, I made a video a couple months back. I think I'm going to link it right here in editing about where I went on Hinge and I just basically used entirely every conversation with my Chatfish profile was just ChatGPT generated, and you can see what the responses were.
Oh, I remember this that video. I mean, yeah, if you're Chad, you'll still get results, but like what if you're an average guy? If you're like an average guy or even just a guy who's below like an 8, what you say is going to be crucial for your success.
That. So, and it's not because ChatGPT was saying something that's very witty and charming and clever. It was actually cringeworthy. Like I was cringing just trying to text these women. Um, but if they're attracted to you, it doesn't matter, and if they're not attracted to you, it also doesn't matter. Now, as to people who do PUAs and um, they put their stake all in game. I'm gonna. This is just again, all of these slides are AI generated because I'm lazy as shit. I'm black, in case you guys didn't know that, so that explains it. Um, but the only person here I actually know is this guy who's Alex from Playing with Fire, and I have nothing against him. But if you actually look at his day game guides,
I was gonna say that. That doesn't look exactly like Playing with Fire Alex. I feel like the AI switched up his face a little bit.
his game guides, his text game guides, it's mostly just persistence. Like he'll text the same retarded meme to a girl over and over again until one day she's horny enough and she just wants to smash a guy that night.
I mean, persistence is important. I mean, persistence, I think, is part of game, arguably.
And she responds and he gets over it. So, does that really count as game, or is that just luck, timing, and a woman's already existing appearance to you, attraction towards you? So there you go. Also, this pic's a total catfish, by the way. I don't know if you guys ever seen this video, but dude does not look like that at all. But whatever. All right, next slide. Hair. Now this is an underrated one. We've been talking about some things that are overrated in the past. Now it's time to talk about some things that are severely underrated. And hair is underrated. Now, most BPers, they don't ever talk about this. They just
Oh yeah, actually, I kind of agree with that. Like, yeah, this Billy Corgan. Yeah, he definitely descended.
say, don't be bald, and don't be Norwooding. So don't be in the process of balding. No, not all hair was created equal, guys. If you have hair like right here on the left, like long, luscious, flowing locks, you are going to do a lot better than the guy in the center right here who just has like a normal short haircut or whatever like that. Girls really like hair. And I'll give you an example of this. There's a
I kind of disagree. I think if you have long hair, you're just gonna look like this, like this. You're gonna look kind of feminine. It's gonna be kind of a niche thing, you know. Like I've had like longish hair before, and I feel like I just looked better when I had like shorter kind of hair. I mean, maybe this is a bit shorter than is optimal. You kind of want to have it a bit more grown out, but like you know, I just don't think that long hair is really optimal. It makes you look kind of feminine, is what I think. Which is like some women find them that attractive, but most don't really find feminine men the most attractive.
social media website. You guys definitely don't use it. It's called Pinterest. And lots of girls like to basically make their own virtual billboards on there where they just make collections of photos that they like. And I was creep maxing a little bit back when my university days. I was looking up some girl's social media profile that I liked. And I
We've all done that before.
found her Pinterest profile. And there was a section on it called Plus One, just devoted to, I guess, her ideal kind of men. And in none of these could you even see the guy's face. It was all pictures of guys with this long, flowing hair down to their shoulders that were just really luscious and of high quality. And then I looked at some other girls' profiles on Pinterest, and they had actually this exact same section, a Plus One section, and pictures that looked exactly like that as well. Girls really like flowing hair, and what's pretty interesting about it is that this is actually agnostic to pheno. If you look at black guys, the black guys that do really well, think about rappers, for example, they're all dreadheads. They got those long dreads. Asian guys, the kind of East Asian men that are most successful and most attractive, I've noticed, are guys with long, like shoulder length hair. That does really well with Asian women. I noticed that as well. And if you're actually wondering who this guy is, so this is the lead singer to my all-time favorite band. His name is Billy Corgan. The band's called Smashing Pumpkins. And as you can see here, the dude went from being a guy that girls might have like taped to the bedroom wall or something like that to just simply by losing his hair, he went to having to like Nosferatu max within 5 years. Okay, dude went from a heartthrob to like gothic vampire aesthetics, right? So believe me, if this guy wasn't an internationally famous rock star, he'd be screwed. So yeah, hair matters. Okay, pheno. Now this is a tough one. And not only because I'm absolutely going to get banned off YouTube if I say one word wrong on this slide. But before that, I actually want to ask a pretty interesting question. Of the three guys on the left here, are these men attractive? And I don't want you to think about anything about their status, who these men are. I understand they play some kind of sports ball, but whatever. Don't think about their status, their wealth, their fame, their height. Just look at their faces, okay? Pretend these were ordinary men on the street in your city. Are these men attractive? It's an interesting question because to some women, each of these men would be very, very attractive and desirable. I'm telling you. Even if you take away their status. And to other women, each of these men would have no appeal whatsoever. So pheno absolutely matters. And it's actually, in many ways, it matters more than anything else because it's an overarching quality, right? If a woman likes your pheno, you can get away with having some severe deficiencies. It's
Interesting. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess pheno. Don't most people say it's the JBW pill? Like, I mean, I think that the highest SMV guys right here would be um, Holland and Ronaldo, probably, because they have like a more attractive pheno. Like these two have like more like niche phenos.
Possible. It really is. Either in the face department, the height department, the physique department, you can get away with not severe deficiencies, perhaps, but some deficiencies in those departments. Meanwhile, if a girl is not attracted to your pheno, um, literally nothing. You can have absolutely perfect stats in all regards. She will still not be attracted to you. So pheno is really an overarching quality.
Okay, this girl just messaged me on Facebook dating, but she's like 200, 200 miles away. Oh wait, 300 miles away. Yeah, I don't know. That's tough. I think I probably will respond just because, but that's a bit too far.
Now, I also want to say some phenos are, from a woman's perspective, from all of, let's say, female kind's perspective, some phenos are going to be overall, on average, more desirable than other phenos. And I would say Ronaldo here on the right has probably the most universally attractive phenotype. And these guys on the left here, they all have limiting phenotypes. Now, again, as I said before, even if he had no.
Yeah, I would agree that Ronaldo probably has the most attractive out of all of them. I'm not sure if it's the phenotype, because like he's like more like Mediterranean. He's more like kind of like Northern European looking, and like that I don't think like I think I've heard some people say that Mediterranean guys do better than like Northern European guys. I'm not sure if that's true. I don't think that's really true. I think it's just white guys in general that do better. But I don't know. I don't think it's really his pheno. I think it's just that Holland has some like maybe some stranger features, and Ronaldo just looks more like balanced and normal.
Status, no fame, and no money, they could still find women who are attracted to them. But their pool is going to be significantly less than the guy on the right. And that's all I'm going to say about that one because I don't want to get banned. All right. Last but maybe not least, we're going to talk about money and status, and I'm just too lazy, so I put them on the same slide, even though they are, in fact, slightly different. Now, I'm going to make a similarity, a comparison here to when I talked about physique. If you are an absolute brokey, and I also want to say I should have said this right at the beginning slide, but I actually totally forgot. Not only am I talking about things that are attractive upon first glance, I'm also talking about specifically women in my age range, which is, let's say, the 20s. So late teens to 20s, which is my age group. And judging by a poll I just ran, it's the majority of your age groups as well for the viewers to my channel. If you're an absolute brokey, okay, versus let's say you have an average job, like you work in an office and maybe you make a really good salary. Maybe you make six figures, 100K a year. Maybe you make 150K a year, 175K a year. For women of my age range in their 20s, where you're not necessarily thinking about marriage and children yet because these milestones are being pushed back, I would argue there is not a huge advantage in going from here to here. And that might shock one of you guys. It's not very pleasant to say because people would like.
I would say there's more of a difference from going here to here than going from here to here. If you're like if you're completely broke and you don't even have like a car, if you don't even have like your own house where you can like sleep with a girl, like that's gonna be tough. Like the logistics are just gonna be worse for dating, and like you're just gonna be seen as a bum too.
To think that money matters more than it does for young people. Again, young people specifically. But I'll give you a perfectly some evidence right here. If you go on a college campus, who are on average majors, which majors on average have the most guys who are most romantically, sexually successful? Is it computer science? Is it mechanical engineering? Or is it sociology or communications, right? Or, business or something like that. That's not really hard. Everybody knows which majors at a university are on average going to lead to higher wealth, right? Um, and yet women aren't flocking to these guys, right? And that's because for women in their 20s, they're getting money from other sources. They're working on their own careers at this point. They're still living off of their parents for the early part of their 20s, like when they're in university and so on. So they're not really. So if you're a total brokey, you can still be very successful in your early years as long as you are a physically attractive man. Now, long term, yes, I agree. Long term is different. If you literally you can't even go out with a woman because you can't afford to pay for dinner or anything like that. That is going to affect you in the long term. She's going to get a little bit sick of that over a while. But I'm telling you, there's not much difference between the first image and the second image here. Now, when you go from here to here, yeah, absolutely. If you are absolutely status maxed, if you're a rapper, you're a ball player, you're an actor, you're a streamer, you're some kind of TikTok celebrity, yeah, that does matter for women. But again, here's another BP for you guys. Only 1% of men can actually aspire to do that, right? Most of us aren't going to become having the kind of status that's actually going to attract women, where we can get like Leo, girls to come on our yachts, even though Leo's totally looks minned at this point, right? So that's brutal truth. And you see a lot of people in the RP community, they like to throw around the word status, but notice they never define what it means, right? Because what they want you to think it means is like a status like you're a well-paid lawyer or a doctor or an engineer, something that's actually reasonable to accomplish for many men. But that's not the kind of status that matters, at least in your 20s. It's basically a status like Leo or Clav or something like that, All right. So, drum roll, please. Here is the final. Oh shit! Let me erase this crap. Here is the final ranking for you guys. So I think I've already gone over it for you guys. Fino is
Actually, when he was talking about hair, I think he had a point. This girl like just said that she likes my hair. She messaged me and said that. That's interesting. I think he's right. Hair really does matter. I know I said I disagreed, like that long hair is optimal, but I think there's a certain appeal to it. I don't have long hair at the moment, but I don't know. Maybe with a certain style and like vibe, long hair is like really, really good.
number one because it's sort of it's all encompassing of everything that comes below it, right? If you're talking about an attribute, like a universal attribute, I would say height is number one, followed by face, and then face is very closely followed by both hair and physique. Again, if you have great hair and great physique, that might actually be enough to overcome deficiency in your face. I'm not joking. And then again, money and status for most guys doesn't matter, but if you have a lot of money and you've got a lot of status, it matters maybe more than anything else. So in order to balance things out, I just put money and status in the middle, basically. And style matters like a little bit, and then but that's also style also encompasses, remember, pheno and physique. So keep that in mind. But your personal fashion choices, they do come into play somewhat. So it goes a little bit above the very bottom. And then the very bottom is just humor and game, things that don't matter whatsoever. Okay, so that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Appreciate that. Gained some knowledge from it. And if you would like to see more content like this, please like and subscribe for more quality white pills. We are closing in on 500 subscriber, guys. Thank you so much for all of your support. And let's try to hit that milestone together. Again, thank you for your support once again. Last video really popped off.
Okay, I think that was a pretty good video. I don't know if I should leave a like on it because he said that game is bullshit. But I think I'll just leave a comment. I'll say this was an entertaining video. Alright, and I think I was gonna react to Playing with Fire's new video. I want to react to some like channels that like I haven't watched before. I feel like I'm mostly watching channels that I am already super familiar with. Let's see. What, I thought I had ad block. What the hell? It's just not working for some reason.
Back in the 2000s, pickup artists taught men to wear ridiculous outfits, use a bunch of cringy scripted routines, and even neg women in order to have a better chance of getting with them. And some of it did work, but a lot of it turned socially awkward men into even bigger weirdos.
What kind of gum is that?
Orange.
No, straight gum.
No, thank you.
Please.
But after coaching men for over a decade, I've realized that we threw out some genuinely effective ideas along with all the cringe. So today, I'm breaking down 5 old school pickup tactics that actually work, the psychology behind them, and how to use them without sounding like a complete weirdo. And actually, one of the most controversial ones may be the most effective. Number 1, the 3-second rule. If you've been in the pickup community for a while, you've probably heard this a million times. The idea is that when you're doing cold approach and you see a cute girl, you approach her within 3 seconds of seeing her. The logic is, the longer you wait, the more time your brain has to give you a million excuses for why you shouldn't do it. You become more nervous, you start overthinking.
Honestly, this is good advice, but I can't say I really follow it myself that much. I approach quicker than I once did, but I still almost always am taking longer than 3 seconds.
The perfect opener, and often you just chicken out completely. When I first got into game and saw a cute girl, I would just stand there thinking of the perfect way to approach her. Every second I waited, I got more and more inside my head until eventually I convinced myself not to do it at all. But when I approached the instant I saw her, I came across as more confident and my game was definitely better. And this is very common, especially for beginners and intermediates. Hesitation almost never makes things better. So, next time you see a girl you find attractive, approach her immediately. You don't need the perfect pickup line or opener, just say whatever comes to your head. And if you really can't think of anything, just go with, hey, I know this is random, but I thought you were cute and want to say hi real quick. And that leads us to our next tactic.
Do you like my crooked nose? Do you like my... Okay. Hi, excuse me. I had a quick question for you. Do you like my crooked nose?
Do you like mine?
Yeah, we kind of match.
I know.
Number 2, false time constraints. This means directly or indirectly telling the girl that you have to leave soon. The logic is simple. When a random guy approaches, a woman is worried about getting stuck in one of those long, awkward conversations, so she rejects him immediately to prevent that. A false time constraint eliminates that concern. That's why the opener I gave you guys earlier contains real quick at the very end. And this shit really does work. When I first started using false time constraints, my instant rejection rate fell by over 30%. You can say, I have to get back to my friends in a minute, but I wanted to come and say hi. Or, I have to leave soon, but wanted to meet you first. Or even simply, hi, I just want to say hi real quick. Now, this doesn't mean you actually have to end a conversation really quick.
Wait, what did you just say?
Awkward conversations, so she retreats. This means directly or indirectly telling the girl that you have to leave soon. The logic is simple. When a random guy...
Oh yeah, I never do this. I should probably start doing this more.
approaches, a woman is worried about getting stuck in one of those long, awkward conversations, so she rejects him immediately to prevent that. A false time constraint eliminates that concern. That's why the opener I gave you guys earlier contains real quick at the very end. And this shit really does work. When I first started using false time constraints, my instant rejection rate fell by over 30%.
Oh my god, I think I might actually have to try this. I mean, I've heard of this before, and I've heard of I know the principle behind it, but like, I don't know, I didn't really think about it from that way, from the perspective of like women instantly rejecting you. I thought it was something that just like that you would throw in the middle of the conversation. I'm gonna start saying real quick more, I think. I think that's gonna, I mean, I definitely heard of it before, but like I didn't. Now that he's explaining it more thoroughly, I think I understand more of like why it works.
You can say, I have to get back to my friends in a minute, but I wanted to come and say hi. Or, I have to leave soon, but wanted to meet you first. Or even simply, hi, I just want to say hi real quick. Now, this doesn't mean you actually have to end a conversation really quick. If the vibe is good, the vast majority of the time, the girl's going to completely forget that you said that. I remember one time when I was traveling through Finland, I met this MILF, and I told her I wanted to say hi real quick before I go and meet my friends. Then we wound up going to the bar for about an hour having drinks, and then I pulled her back to my place where we hung out even longer, and then eventually we hooked up. Afterwards, she joked, aren't your friends going to be mad that you never showed up? And we both looked at each other and started laughing. But 99% of the time, girls will completely forget. But false time constraints alone are not enough. You need to create emotion in the conversation, which is what the next tactic teaches us.
What are you up to? I'm meeting a friend in like 30 minutes. If you want to go for a quick.
Number 3, emotional spikes. If I had to pick the most important one on this list, it
Okay, I actually follow this advice. I try to like make the conversation more emotional with the kind of stuff I say and like my vibe.
would be this one. The idea is that you want girls to experience a variety of emotions when you're talking to them. Otherwise, even if the conversation is pleasant, she's probably going to get bored. Most guys ask the same predictable questions. Where are you from? What do you do? Do you like your job? And those questions alone are fine, but if that's your whole conversation, it's going to feel much more like a job interview than a man talking to a woman. One way you can create emotional spikes is by trolling and saying something ridiculous. For example, when a girl asks me, what do I do? I might just pause and say, promise you're not going to judge? She's like, no, I'm not going to judge. Well, I'm actually a male stripper. Now she's surprised, curious, and more invested. And after trolling her a little while longer, I'll usually give her my real job because otherwise it can get a bit weird. Another method for creating emotional spikes is cold reads. This is when you make an educated guess about the girl. For instance, I might say, wait, let me guess, you're Colombian? If you're right, she's going to be curious how you knew. If you're wrong, she's going to be curious why you thought that. Either way, she becomes more emotionally invested in the conversation. But the best tactic for giving a girl emotional spikes is actually going to be the one that gave the pickup community its terrible reputation.
Mine?
Yeah, we kind of match.
I know.
I was gonna say that's not the only thing that's crooked. Like my dog, he's kind of walking funny.
Number 4, negging, but with a twist. This means giving a girl a minor insult or a backhanded compliment. The original logic was that hot girls receive male validation all the time, guys are constantly sucking up to them, so by negging her, you're lowering her perceived value, you're separating yourself from all the other guys.
I try to nag sometimes, but um I don't know, not when I'm actually approaching, cuz like most of the time like I don't have time to like think of some neg to say or anything like that. Most of the time when I'm approaching, like I keep it pretty basic, though I will try to throw in some emotional spikes most of the time. And as for the 3-second rule, I think I kind of I think I follow more like the for me it's more like the 15-second rule. Usually, like I usually don't spend like a minute deciding if I'm gonna approach a girl. I usually spend like 15 seconds. But it's like, yeah, I think that out of all of them, I think not overthinking before you approach is actually the most important, and just going for it like quickly, relatively quickly.
And you're making her seek your approval. This received a lot of backlash for obvious reasons, but the real issue is that like 98% of men completely fuck this up. They either come off as rude or too tryhard. I learned this the hard way. Back when I was a senior in college, I was introduced to the book The Game, and I wanted to go out and try its principles. So I go to a bar and I meet 2 girls who were being really, really friendly towards me. I think even they liked me, right? But I wanted to practice, so I tried negging one of them. And then it just became like instantly awkward. And after a little bit, one of the girls said, he's rude, let's go back to our booth. Eventually, I realized that negging only works if the girl is insecure and your delivery is perfect. A much better alternative that works on essentially every girl is teasing. Instead of trying to lower her self-esteem, you're actually having fun with her and showing her that you're not worried about losing her, which is very attractive. For instance, if a girl says she likes something that I don't, I might just stare at her and say, wow, you're doing so well until you told me that. Or, for example, if the girl orders a food or drink, I'm going to just maintain strong eye contact and say, tisk, tisk, tisk.
I think this is decent advice. The thing about a neg is you don't want it to be like an insult. I think you want it to just be like an offhand comment that makes them kind of question themselves. Or you could tease like he does, which is probably going to be good for like escalating, creating sexual tension.
The key for this to work is delivery. You need to tease her in an obviously playful way, which means good tonality. There should be this joking inflection in your voice. For instance, if you say, "You were doing so good until you told me that," in a very monotone way, she might go like, "What the fuck? This guy's just rude and judgmental." But if you say like, "You were doing so good until you told me that," she's gonna know that you're obviously being playful and see that you're not just trying to kiss her ass either. I've almost never had a bad reaction to this because girls love to be teased, especially the hot ones, because everyone is just way too afraid to do it to them.
What is this outfit you have on? Is this like some kind of a titty fanny pack type of situation?
Yeah, it's a running fan.
Okay.
Running titty fan.
Number 5, the compliance ladder. This means escalating slowly and progressively instead of just talking to the girl for 2 hours and then just randomly going for the kiss.
Yeah, I try this, but I think this one is actually harder to implement. You know, I obviously don't just randomly try to do stuff, but like it's hard to kind of amp it up like a ladder, you know? It's like you kind of a lot of the time you'll end up in a situation where it's like you don't even know if you should go for the kiss. That's happened to me so many times. You know, where it's like I want to, but like I feel like I don't have enough compliance yet and it just never happens.
And this can make all the difference between whether she kisses you back or just gives you a cheek. If you try to kiss her after a totally platonic conversation, her reaction might be like, "What the fuck is happening here?" But if you're using progressive escalation and you're building up to it, then she's not going to be blindsided and she's going to be expecting it, if not even yearning for it. Here's an embarrassing story. In high school, I was a virgin. I hadn't even kissed anybody. So when I get to college and I start going to these parties, I see people making out all the time. And I would just sit there and think, how do you go from a part where you're talking to the part where you're making out with a girl? Then, one
I mean, yeah, I'm also I'm a virgin. I'm 19. I'm done with my freshman year of high school. Freshman year of college. I meant to say. I'm done with high school and I'm done with my freshman year of college. I think I'm probably gonna ascend pretty quickly. Not pretty quickly. Pretty soon I'm gonna ascend. I think. I hope so.
drunken night, it hit me. You don't go directly from talking to a girl to making out with her. Duh. You want to progressively build towards that. And that same principle applies towards sex. After years of coaching, I've heard countless stories that go like this. I was on a date with this really cool girl, and we were vibing, we were talking, and then at the end I tried to kiss her, and she gave me the cheek, but I thought she was DTF. Most of the time, it's because there was no progressive escalation. It was just talking, and surprise kiss. And that can only work if the girl's like insanely DTF. Instead, escalate gradually. Start off with very light touches, and then hold your hand there longer, then touch her knee, then maintain.
I wonder how we can find girls who are insanely DTF. I can't say I've ever encountered a girl in real life who's insanely DTF for me. Like I never got on a date and the girl was like super DTF.
Eye contact, then get a little closer to her, and so on. This will not only drastically increase the chances of her kissing you back, but also with sleeping with you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. There were a few very effective pickup tactics that I had to leave out. So if this video gets over 500 likes, I'll make a part 2. And comment below which old school pickup tactic you want me to cover next. Also, if you want to learn
Okay. I guess that worked on me. I guess I have to leave a like so we can make the part 2. Keep in mind that negging only works on extremely attractive women. Mystery said in his book that if you use an average looking girl, it just hurts their feelings and they get mad. I mean, yeah, but back then how they rated women was kind of skewed. Bill Burr. Fuck Bill Burr. He isn't even funny. Why am I getting recommended Bill Burr? Oh yeah, this loser maxing guy. Maybe I could react to one of his videos. There's so many possibilities. Let's see what loser maxing has uploaded recently. I kind of relate to this guy, even though he's like much older than me. Relate to like a lot of what he talks about. But his profile picture is a soy jack. Why is it a soy jack? Why isn't it just like a plain Wojak? Like he calls himself a soy boy? Let's see. Yeah, being a quiet guy ruined my life before it even began. Oh yeah, I made a video about this guy, and then I guess he made a video before I got a chance to. Yeah, this guy was just super delusional. Just let women make the first move. Terrible advice. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna get off. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Anyone else? And anyone who's still watching. And if anyone has any other if anyone has any questions or anything, I guess I'll just stick around for a second. But or any comments, anything to say, I'll just stick around for a little bit. I'm gonna try to stream more, because